Hey guys, who do we got here? Hey Lisa, how are you, my friend? Hey Lee, hey, do you guys do anything at all for Halloween? I know it's not really a holiday that you celebrate over there, but not that it's really a holiday, but it could be a fun day for people. For me, well, of course, as a kid, it was trick or treating, and then it was causing trouble in my teenage years, and then it was going to bars in my 20s, and unfortunately into my 30s. Hey Sniper, bring up the live stream here, guys. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. Um, any questions about anything that Emily talked about? I hope you get a chance to go over to the uh, channel, Circle of Atonement. Go to the website, Circle of Atonement, and if there's any prayers, they have a group of people that will pray for you, for your friends, for your family. I think that's pretty awesome. I'm setting up tomorrow's morning live stream as we talk. We're going to hit an hour. That's the goal. Hour conversation with my friends about whatever. Hey, Selma, you were going to go to a dance, weren't you? Lisa's even Sniper. Hey, Ellie. Ellie, how are you? Someone says, just stopping by to say hi and I have to go. I appreciate that, Selma. You are a very thoughtful friend. They don't call you Selma. They don't call you Selma Kind Girl for nothing, right? Almost ready. We love you too, Selma. Ellie says she's not bad. I'm bad. You having a good day, Sniper? Hey, Daniel. Daniel says, hey, everyone, happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you too. Selma says, I'll see you Monday. Yep, have a good weekend, Selma. Have fun. Be safe. Need your painkillers and I can't move to get them. Anyone help you with that? Hey, Maven. We miss you too, Selma. Electromagnetic universe for beginners. We are energy. Almost had me singing. Hey, Grandma. Grandma, how are you? Happy Halloween to you. Hey, no one should be too busy to help you get pain medication, though, Ellie. Thank you. Grandma, I appreciate that. Hey, Estat. Estat, thanks for being in and hanging out. Thanks for being in and hanging out this afternoon. So again, guys, I'm happy to talk about Emily's live stream. If you have any questions, this was a little different. We don't often talk politics. Of course, we didn't talk specific politics, but we did talk if we should be political. And the question is not necessarily, or the answer is not necessarily, but you do have, I don't want to say an obligation. I don't even want to say responsibility. You have a service, you have a calling, you have a higher calling to literally save the world. What's up, Maven? Grandma says doing better. I was a little sick. What was going on? There's been some nasty stuff going around. Temper says, Maven, greetings. Hope you're well. Someone says, before I go, you guys would have to say, be nice to Yogi, please. If you don't be nice to Yogi, he's going to tell me on Monday. No negative, only positive. Remember that, guys. Thank you, Soma. These guys are always pretty nice. Hey, Tina Marie, how are you? We got a good group of people here. So it was nice having that conversation today. A little bit different, but much the same at the same time. Stomach issues, gotcha. My cat's sneezing. Hey, Lady Sky. I saw that Grandma Jamaica got hit, damaged so bad asking for prayers. Definitely. Let's do a little ring of the bell for Jamaica. 3 rings. This is for Jamaica, guys. Tina Marie says she's good. Hope you all as well. Doing pretty good, Tina. Thank you. Prayers will continue too. Michael says, be nice to Yogi. Meh. We're going to be awful and feed him mushy peas and mashed potatoes. You'd have to catch me first, Michael. Speaking of which, how are you feeling? Are you recovered? Jeffrey says, Grandma, I've been sending my love and faith strangers for your time of need. It says her auntie is that mine. Grandma says, thanks, squirrel. Bye, Selma. We love you too, and have a safe and wonderful Halloween. And Sudan. You got it. Hi, Miss Daisy. Prayers for Sudan. Speaking of prayers, remember, Circle of Atonement, they have a prayer circle. So you can go, we can request prayers whenever you want. Tiger King says, what, live last night? Cannot stop laughing. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun, Tiger King. It was a good day for Tiger King here. He got to hear Lady Sky sing Amy Winehouse. And Daisy, how are you? Grandma says my family is out there too. Have not heard from them yet. So specific prayers for your family. Praying for everyone, but also just very, very specifically, we're praying for your family. Happy Halloween to you, Daisy. How are you? Michael says still has a cough, sore throat, but yeah, pretty much recovered. Good. Ellie says, hey, I haven't got my meds yet. That's not good, Ellie. You need to get hold of someone. Hey, Nathan says, Eden Tiger King, what are you dressed as? Let's see. Grandma says, I missed it. We'll be back next month. Chris and I do it every month. Oh, you can watch the replay. Oh, I was in a Halloween costume. I was in the scariest Halloween costume I've ever. I was in a dress shirt, a necktie with a perfect knot, by the way, and a sweater vest. I was the version of Yogi if he stayed in middle management. If he never became a yogi. Ellie's going to get to him soon. But thank you so much, Daisy. Happy Halloween to you, my friend. Hey, Mr. Haglund. How are you? Ellie says she's going to get her meds soon. Ask my mom if she can. I hope so. Ellie says, not to scare costume. I'm still traumatized from that. It was pretty scary, wasn't it? Thank you, Daisy, for your kindness, for your presence. And by your presence, I don't mean just here. I mean your presence on YouTube. You've created you and Chris, as well as Toy Pups. I think you guys, top of the game. You've created this very unique place just for people to gather. It just reminds me of the old days. Thank you. I have not seen that dancing dog before. That is absolutely, absolutely awesome. Thank you, my friend. Listen, I'm gonna appreciate that. I've never seen that dog. It was awesome. Um, I'm glad you're getting your meds. It reminds me of being a kid. Rainy days when you might have had, like, I had some issues with my siblings growing up, but on a rainy day when the games came out, uh, everything was put aside, and it was just a nice, peaceful, loving atmosphere. You guys create that. What amazes me every single time, without fail. Nadia State says, "Do you play guitar?" I do not play guitar. However, last night I played a pretty awesome kazoo with my friend Chris. I'm not saying I'm a professional kazoo player, but it was pretty good. Daisy says, "Oh, thank you." Yep. Like sitting around with my friends and family, and you know what? You really are, because you made that. Becky King says, "Miss City Sky, you're a queen of Amy Winehouse. She did an excellent job." Michael says, "Yeah, these last few weeks were rough. Sorry for being missing in action. You weren't feeling well, Michael. I just didn't feel like socializing while I was sick. I can understand. But you know what? You did manage to come in a couple times. I really appreciate that." Grandma says, "We're giving out candy later to the kids, but no costume this year." We don't get a whole lot of kids anymore. I used to. Hey, nah, Just Jane, do you play guitar? Hey, Lucy. Hey, Kamari. Daisy says, "Lucy, remember, we're mindful of the gates." Thank you again for the jewels. Marketplace Boutique. Thank you so much. Those jewels have gotten really awesome lately, guys. Everyone's saying hi. Let's see. Ellie says, "We're going to head out. Love you, Uncle Master Yogi." Love you too, Ellie, my friend. Hey, Jamie. Jamie, what's new with you, my friend? One of these days, I'm going to talk Jamie coming up and playing his mouth harp. Grandma says, "I'm normally dressed up and go trick or treating to get candy." They said, "I'm too old." I said, "No, I am 12." What's the cutoff age? We had kids 15, 16 knocking on the door. I think some of them didn't even bother to dress up. And it's like, you're basically coming to my house asking for food. If you're 16 years old, you're not in a costume, you're just knocking on my door asking for food. You may as well like come on in and ask for a sandwich. Ask if you could watch TV. Michael says I'll be going live Monday. Welcome back to the live streams, Michael. But at the same time, you go to bed, my friend. Ryan and I are going to be hanging out. Good. Hey, Evan. Evan, what's up with your team? How'd everything play out? Evan says, "Have you ever sat on the couch with a bag of Doritos and a beer and watched Jerry Springer in your underwear?" I have not. I have not. I've drinking a lot of beer. I have eaten bags of Doritos before. I probably watched TV in my underwear before. I don't think I've done all three at once. I don't know if I've ever watched TV in my underwear. I can't imagine why I would. Uh, and I've never watched Jerry Springer. DC says not as many kids trick or treating like they used to. I think overall it seems that way, doesn't it? So don't worry about what other people do, Tiger King. When we say free gates, it always applies to you and only you. But that doesn't mean it doesn't apply for other people. It's up to them to make it work for them. You got to make it work for yourself. Where'd we go? Nathan says, Evan, is that punishment to watch me drink beer in my underwear and watch Jerry Springer? That would be punishment. Hey, Tamat, did I get that right? Tamat, happy Halloween to you, my friend. Michael says, if I get trick or treating that wants a trick instead of a treat, I'll be like watching this payday magically disappear and then eat it. That would be a pretty good trick. So, did your team win? Is the World Series still going on, or is it over? Probably should have. Probably should know that, right? Nathan said they felt embarrassed just for a second when I was asked not to talk to a certain someone in here. It's passed already. Grandma says, I love Jerry. Jerry, you missed out. Yeah, he passed away, didn't he? He's not with us any longer. S dot says, sounds like a good night. Have you ever done that? S dot. Evan says, dude, the Jays are playing tonight. Hope to win the whole thing. Is tonight the deal breaker? The clinching? Grandma says because people that's giving out the candy related with stuff to kill kids or make them sick. I hope not. We used to hear about that when we were kids, but um, man, I hope people don't do that. Adam says, blessed are the muckrakers, for they shall inherit the swamp. Someone has to inherit the swamp. Evan says, hey guys. Lee says, Yogi, what's your next celebration or holiday coming up? We have Veterans Day in early November, which is also Carl's birthday, by the way. So if you see Carl, make sure you wish him a happy birthday on that day. It's a meaningful day for me, Veterans Day, as I was married to a vet. He served 23 and a half years in the Air Force. Hey, Kat. And my dad was in World War II. Kat, thank you so much for being there today, especially because you're on vacation. And yet you took the time out to hang out. I know you did it for Emily. And then we have Thanksgiving, Lee. Adam says, I heard Springer had to comment. I'm driving. Gotcha. Nathan says, for both of us, Eric. The drinking beer. Thank you, Kat. It was great. 100%, 100% Emily. I know it was 100% Emily. Got a nice little text from her just a few moments ago. She told me to call her M. No, she just said, thanks for the lovely conversation. Well, good luck, Evan. Hey, who are they playing against again? It's the Blue Jays against who? Brian says, Grandma says, once when my daughter brought home candy after trick or treating, there was metal in the candy. No, that's not cool. No, it isn't at all. I'm sorry that happened. Hey, Coco. I haven't heard of Super Art, Tiger King. He says, Tiger King, how was drama class? Good question. Essa says, I'm not a fan of Doritos, but the rest sounds fun, Yogi. Beer and underwear? I haven't had Doritos in a long time. You know, the taco ones were actually vegan. Do you know, I might have been Utz. They made a bacon something potato chip that was actually vegan. How could you have a bacon flavored potato chip that was actually vegan? Adam says, Jack had it made special for me today that you were there and everyone else I can't read. Hey, Ariel, my friend. Says, Jesus died. Hey, you know what I'd like to think? I like to think that Jesus rose for me. I like to think that that the resurrection was for me, that the death was incidental. The only reason death had to happen was because of demonstration. In order to have faith, you needed to see the resurrection. And that by example, I'm giving that option of choosing the resurrection myself instead of choosing the crucifixion, meaning that I don't need to crucify people who come in with a different opinion than me, people who come in who actually might be insulting, people who come in uh, mean spirited or whatever. I do not have to, or just different, that I don't understand them. I don't have to choose the crucifixion. I can choose the resurrection. So thank you for making me think of that, Ariel. Cat is laughing. So here's the question, Cat. Should I ask Robert to come up? Should I ask Robert if he could come so that I can call them Rob and M? My favorite couple, Rob and M. Coca says, bring me in. Let's party. With the Doritos and the beer. What's up, Nino? Dodgers will win series tonight. So it's tied up. Cat says, cool story. How are you doing, Lady Sky? Lucy says, I listened to that conversation with Emily, very powerful and knowledgeable. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you for being there. I appreciate that comment. Corey says, Michael Stipe. Could be. Could be. I have not heard that one in a while. I heard Moby the other day, which isn't bad. I like Moby. Musically, I don't think I can name anything Moby's done. I know he did the theme song for one of the Bourne Identity movies, which is actually a good movie, and it was a good theme song. I just like Moby who he is. He has a very devout spiritual practice. He's vegan for ethical reasons. Hey, Dino. Finally got 21st in the competition and started playing a board game where I build and paint figures. Awesome. Hey, Dino, have you had any more dates lately? You hear any think of Super Art and Big L? They're both okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is, Tiger King. We got some pumpkins from Nino. Thank you, Nino. Hey, Nino, you're going to have to throw out some TV theme songs for us to play. Nino says no, 3-2 Toronto. Oh. So the Dodgers don't win tonight. Kat said, I think you and he would be an interesting combination because we're both bald. Is that what you're saying, Kat? Evan says, Jay's already got this. This guy's doing all right. More dates with your girlfriend. Didn't you have a date the other day? Or am I mistaken? Nathan says, oh, he's reading some Herman Melville. For as this appalling ocean surrounds the verdant land, so in the soul of man there lies one insert Tahiti full of peace and joy, but encompassed by the horrors of the half-known life. One of my all-time favorite quotes. That line won me over with Moby Dick. A book that I've read once and I've attempted to read more than once, probably 100 times. It's a beautiful quote. Oh, hey, Kat, I wanted to tell you. I was close to breaking my agreement. I was going to give you a call. James Twyman said he will come up Tuesday at 1 o'clock. I think he's my only guest uh, next week. James Twyman, guys, you've heard me talking about him. Saber, you would like a lot of his work. He wrote the Kabbalah Code, the Moses Code, Embassy of Lights, which is about indigo children. Uh, he wrote wonderful, wonderful book on Saint Francis. Hey, Sue. Lucy says, not ready for a boyfriend, and that is just the truth. I'm happy being single for right now. That's important. I must be mistaken, my friend, about having a girlfriend. You sang it very nicely, Lady Sky. Lady Sky says, not yet to Tiger King. Hasn't learned it yet. Shame she had a tragic life. You're welcome, Lady Sky. Um, Nathan says, sounds great to interview. Yeah, his newest book, I think I mentioned before. I know I have. Um, I don't know, maybe I love you. Interesting title for a book, right? Based upon a political debate he was having with his brother. They were going back and forth, getting heated as it often did between them. And in the midst, when his brother shot a question at him, and his reply was, I don't know, maybe, but I love you. And his brother was like, don't say that. It can't continue the argument if you just tell me that I love you. And if you say that you don't know. And if you say maybe, maybe you're wrong. And James thought about that. So he wrote a book on how to depoliticize friends, family, countries, this nation, and between nations. Not saying to convince anyone one way or the other, but we don't have to be at each other's throats. What if we had an opinion that we absolutely thought was right, but we were willing to entertain a little bit of doubt? If we started thinking, I could be wrong, you could be right. There is a possibility that I could be wrong. I know you guys are thinking, saying, no, there's no way you could be wrong, Yogi. This smidgen of a chance that I could be. That's enough to have that little bit of doubt, gives us room to maneuver in each other's lives. Exactly. Nathan says maybe opens up portals. Tiger King says you have my top 3 on here, Lady Sky. Uh, nice people. She's an incredibly nice person. Lady Sky says, oh, thank you, Tiger King. Lucy says, so Nathan. Guys, I slept in this morning. Not long, maybe half an hour. Just enough to make me feel I needed to be mindful of my time for a little bit. but I felt I needed it. Should have waited because I get an extra hour of sleep if I take it. Probably won't take it on Sunday. So, yeah, anyway, James will be up. He is a New York Times best-selling author. And Kat, did I mention that him and I are Facebook friends? When I reached out to him, he could not have been nicer. As such says, is timekeeping very important to you, Yogi? No, it isn't very important, but I tend to do the same thing at the same time. My life feels very structured and very spontaneous at the very same time. How about you, Estat? Nathan says, hi, Lucy. It's Squirrel in a fancy dress. Cat is excited for the time change. I'm actually looking forward to certain aspects of it. Cat is rolling her eyes. Pays to have connections, Cat. One day you're gonna be like, I don't know why, but you're gonna need someone who's like extremely famous, and you're gonna need to get in contact with an ex-wife, and you're gonna be like, Yogi, I'm a little embarrassed to ask for this. I know I made fun of you before, but could you contact Van Morrison's ex-wife so I could talk to her? That's right, guys. I'm not bragging. Okay, I'm bragging. I'm Facebook friends with Van Morrison's ex-wife. So here's what I'm looking forward with the time change. Is in the morning I get an X. I know we lose an hour of night in the daytime, right? In the evening. But in the morning, I get an extra hour, at least for a little bit. Right now, and for the next few weeks, we will be losing about 2 minutes of daylight every day. So I'll get that extra hour. It won't be long until it's just about where it is now again. But with that little extra daylight, it means that I'll be able to film more wildlife. Get to see my beavers. Well, I see the beavers. I just don't get to film them. Lady Sky says, hi, Cat and Jack. SS says, my routine keeping has always been erratic. Definitely needs some more discipline. When I made, everything began to change for me when I made non-negotiables with my meditation. If you show up on time every day for your meditation, things begin to change. So tomorrow, maybe we'll be doing some singing. I don't know 100% for sure. A lot of people who had asked me to, keep doing the singing, haven't been here for a bit. So, maybe it'll just be, if it happens, it happens. Nothing planned. If someone wants to come up and sing a song, that's cool. So the one person I haven't reached out to that I keep meaning to, Sniper, is Martin Ball. Just don't know how to fit him in. It's a shame to do a members only because it just limits how many people get to experience it. At the same time, the people that I really want to experience, you, Sniper, being one, and Cat being another. But, is it fair to ask someone to come up just to talk to, who would show up on a members only? Maybe 3, maybe 4 people. Sort of feel like I would be wasting his time a bit. Not with you guys, but he's used to speaking to, pretty large audiences. I just wonder what I can get away with talking about. Oh, right. We will there's always going to be room for you singing, Lady Sky. And I did make a promise. Lady Sky and I, Elton John and Kiki D. Although I think she said I had to be Kiki D. Hey, S. Dot, do you meditate? Hey, Titch, welcome back, my friend. I will be reaching out to more people, though. That's the plan. Keep bringing people up. Keep getting the same, but different perspectives. Not just on the course. Let me know when you want me to bring Tom Thompson, my yogi friend, when you want me to bring him back up. He said anytime. I'm not going to ask James to come up for a bit because he's going to have me on his podcast on the 19th. Let's see. Latest guy says I'm Elton John. She'll be Kiki. Who has the easier part? Hey, Nady, how are you, my friend? I just shared out your stuff a little bit ago. How are you? Hey, Nady, I don't know if I asked you this before. You know of James Twyman? He wrote, let me give a list. Um, he's written a lot of books. The Moses Code, the Joshua Code, The Soul of the Workplace, The Barn Dance. I think you might know Emissary of Light, which is about indigo children. I think my favorite is Portrait of a Master, which is his story of the Prayer of St. Francis, the 10 Symptoms of Anxiety, the Master Teacher Within. Wrote a wonderful book on non-duality, the non-dual universe. Emissary of Love, and his new Praying Peace, one of my favorite. He wrote that with Greg Braden. A lot of people like Greg Braden. He did the I Am Meditations, Wishes Fulfilled with Wayne Dyer. He just did a musical video, A Course in Miracles, with the 50th celebration of A Course in Miracles. Anyway, it's a long way of saying he's going to be up on Tuesday. Hey, Dominic, what's my favorite book? Man, I think it changes every day, but there's a few consistent ones. Lonesome Dove, Jitterbug Perfume, Tom Robbins, Confederacy of Dunces, Born to Run. And then we get Jay says, "Sir, you need a haircut." Which one in particular? You said I need a haircut. Do you have one that you're looking at directly? Because I will do it. I will cut that one particular hair. He says, Dominic, can you sing your anime and really put some umph into it? Do you like spiritual type books the most? I do. I tend to the most, for sure. How my cat's doing for Halloween? They're doing pretty good. Nady says she's well, and yes. So yeah, he'll be up Tuesday at 1 o'clock, and we're going to talk making peace or recognizing peace. Can you make peace? Does peace already exist, and that we just ignore it? Is it like what the Course Miracle says about love? The Course says that it does not teach love because how do you teach what is always present? What it does do is teach us how to remove the blocks to love's awareness. Sniper, or I'm sorry, because Eric Sniper had go up. I have 2 accounts now. He got 2 accounts. I think that you should not worry about what Sniper or Nathan does, and you should worry about what Tiger King does, and you will be much, much more at peace. The 3 gates are for you to work on. The 3 gates are for all of us to work on. It's a suggestion. It makes things more peaceful for all of us. Sniper is very mindful. What about you, Dominic? What type of books do you like? Oops, I read that. Plus, I know both of those accounts, and he doesn't hide. So remember, Tiger. I don't want to get too involved in it, but remember, Tiger King, you denied being 2 accounts. Let's see. Nady says, "What topics are you seeking to discuss?" Mainly his new book, which I've been talking about, Lord of the Rings. I've only read The Hobbit. His new book is I Don't Know, Maybe I Love You, and it's about depoliticizing, depolarizing families and friendships, this country and between countries, depolarizing. So that's going to be the main thing we're going to talk about. Nady, do you think it's possible? Are we beyond? Are we so polarized that there's no return? I got to admit, there is that presence within me. Fortunately, I recognize it because nothing changes until you're aware of it. It's the entirety of yoga, training ourselves to become aware. Nady says, a good question. It is a good question. You know what? It's a scary question, too. I don't like to think that we could be too far. We could be so polarized that there's no turning around. Hey, Ducky, how are you, my friend? I haven't read Lovecraft in quite some time. This says, I think Nathan gave up on him for now. Nady says, I think it's up to us how we treat each other. I think one of the issues is sometimes we feel so put upon. I can't treat you nice because I don't believe that you're nice or that you would treat me nice. You know what I mean? We go through life with these assumptions. And the assumptions, the stories that we tell, or, as the Course says, our interpretation of things. Hey, B. Griff, how are you, my friend? Appreciate you being here. Dominic says, did you have trouble of mind that made you appreciate spiritual books, or you just like them? Both. Very much both. I did have a very troubled mind for a long time. I had a very serious drinking issue. I did not like myself. I was very socially awkward, sort of. I had my group of friends. Outside of that group of friends, I was very socially awkward. Nady says, I lean to the left, and my neighbor has an altar to Don Jr. We found common ground on our love of dogs, deer, and beer. So I have some good friends here that come into the chat who definitely lean in the opposite direction that I do, some very far. And we've been able to very much find common ground, which I appreciate. Dominic says, I'm glad that you found a healthy outlet. It was touch and go for a long time. And to be honest with you, it was more go than anything else. It was not going in a good direction. And it had the promise. What was the gas for it? It did not have a promise of a good outcome at all. It says it's always so welcome in here. I hope we can make it feel that way, my friend. I'm going to take my supplement. We got some unicorn vibes. Lee says, hey, Titch, good to see you back. I think we could find common ground politically with most people. It's the political figures that are divisive. I don't think the politics themselves so much. Hey, Laradox, Yogi's best buddy. How are you, my friend? Hey, sorry I couldn't talk to you when you came in that first time. Kat says, oh, by the way, Yogi, from this morning, I had baby Elizabeth at 1 p.m. today. Oh, hey, that's awesome. Sandy from this morning had baby Elizabeth at 1 p.m. today. Congratulations to Sandy. Newborn. Congratulations to Elizabeth, too. But hey, bigger news for Sandy. She's here. It's a brand new world. Who knows with Sandy? Who knows? Sandy could be the exact person that we need. Let's see. There says Happy Halloween. At times, you can all show our evil side. I don't think we have evil sides. And hopefully, Laradox, you've grown out of all that. Zipper says she'll be a seer, Cat and Jack. In a respectful way, says Laradox. Zipper says, greetings, Laradox. So what's going on? Have you graduated high school? Cat says squirrel. Send some loves. Hey, Cora. Cora, great Halloween video. Thanks for coming in this afternoon, and sorry that I could not say hi. Esat says, hey, Esat, where are you located? I think I asked you this before. America seems very tribalistic and obsessed with choosing a side. I agree. I'm not going to lie about that. You're welcome, Corey. Everybody got the same rules, but why Sniper got different rules? He is untouchable. Pretty much. I'm not going to lie. Pretty much. Sniper's an old friend. But Tiger King, the reason why I'm more insistent with them with you is because instances like this, where you're still asking, you're still talking, you still have a grievance, when you could easily change the subject. We could talk about football a little bit. We could talk about baseball a little bit. We could talk about Amy Winehouse, at least 2 songs. She sang a Beatles song. What Beatles song did she sing? She did a version. Oh, Hide Your Love Away, which is a good song. I could sing that song. Always, Corey, always. I love your channel. I love you and I love your channel. What's going on, Laradox? I know you were fighting a few things before. Cora says, let's give a big shout out to Yogi. Well, thank you, Cora. You know what? The biggest shout out is you guys just being here hanging out with me. Estat says, right in the heart of England, Yogi. I've often thought that I wouldn't mind living actually anywhere. England, Wales, Ireland, Scotland. Hey, Stinkbug, how are you, my friend? Stinkbug says, Mr. Yogi, with a salute. Salute to you, my friend. Nodak says, active guy live recently. Been diagnosed with skull. I can't say it. I've said it before. Sometimes words just escape me. Hey, I'm sorry about that, Laradox. Scololitis. Lee Scoliosis. Finally. I knew I could do it. Hey, Paige. Jesus loves you. Well, thank you, Paige. I appreciate that. Tiger King says 50 years ago, on October 31st, 1975, Queen's masterpiece was released and began the journey to becoming one of the greatest songs of all times. 75. Was that Bohemian Rhapsody? You know what? I'm going to tell you something. This is an unpopular opinion. I think Bohemian Rhapsody is overrated. I think Queen is one of the all-time great rock bands, but I think Bohemian Rhapsody is overrated. Syncbook says, I'm still alive. When you're alive, you're filled with possibilities. Sometimes it doesn't seem that way, but as long as we're taking in a breath. Sorry to hear about that, Laradox. Hey, is it affecting your basketball playing? Laradox is in treatment. What is the treatment for? That says, I think maybe the pace of life is a little slower in the UK. There's places in America where it's definitely slower. A bit more in the country, away from the cities, even away from the suburbs a bit. I live in a suburban area. Beautiful, beautiful area. Plenty of open space, plenty of wildlife. Laradox says he died on the cross. He died for us on the cross. I mentioned this earlier, that me personally, I like focusing on the resurrection. As Laradox knows, I'm not Christian. Doesn't mean I wouldn't have a relationship or don't have a relationship with Jesus. Just means that I'm not of the Christian faith, even though I went to Catholic school. I left it behind me. No looking back, no regrets. Okay, or send me an email. My email's in the, on my page, for sure. Let's see. Cora says, "What are you doing for Halloween, Yogi?" I'll be in bed within half an hour. So my Halloween is almost over. I'm in the East Coast, but I go to bed early because I'm up real early. I'll be up about 2:15 tomorrow morning. Sinkbook says I'm actually so ordained in the Christian church. Hey, Sinkbook, what do you mean by ordained? Ordained as in the clergy, or ordained as just a member? So for me, as I ended my teen years and I got very interested in shamanism uh, and practicing yoga, Christianity seemed to fall behind. In my 20s, my practice of yoga deepened. I studied Buddhism, a couple other practices. I did explore some esoteric principles, some aspects of magic. But I can't say I ever left my relationship with Jesus behind. Good night, Cora, my friend. Sickbook says, I still study and talk about the Bible, but I'm not religious. Gotcha. Hey, so did you have like a point where you walked away from the religiousness of it? PC says, so the stink bug. S. Dot says, having the wildlife you do in your area is amazing, Yogi. I can't imagine going to the park and seeing a beaver. Oh, I don't have to go to the park. That's less than a quarter mile from my house. I just walk less than 5 minutes and I'm at my little beaver pond. Roy says, please, on veganism, vegetarian, when God said, thou shalt not kill, he was not specifically killing the human species, sacrificing humanity. Well, the yogic diet is vegetarian. I think if it had been updated, because it used to include dairy, because they treated animals very nicely then, right? Now we don't so much. I think um, if it was updated, it would probably be vegan or largely vegan. Sinkbook says ordained as clergy, like it can do weddings and funerals, etc. Oh wow! Thanks for coming in, Nady. Very much appreciate it. Definitely talk tomorrow. So, what was the point where you wanted to sort of walk away from the religiousness? Hey, Perry Jean, how are you, my friend? Thanks for coming back. Of course, says, hey, same here. I'm not religious. Therodox says, his opinion, Little House is the best show on earth. I used to love it when I was a kid. Sickbug says, I guess I just reasoned myself out of it. Grew up in the Baptist church. It's probably pretty strict, right? Therodox says, I myself am a vegetarian. I didn't know you were a vegetarian. No, I don't put up Christmas trees anymore, Tiger King. So after my mom died, um, and then I was with my dad as his caregiver. Just didn't seem the same. Therodox says only lean meats, grass fed every now and then. Sinkbook says he said don't murder. It was a legal term if translated accurately. Zephyr says that's not vegetarian then, Therodox. We got some unicorn vibes. Therodox says I highly respect the Buddhist way of living. Very respectful and healthy, low stress way of living. It is. Agreed. Sinkbud said, he said, don't murder. Oh, I read that. Sorry. I saw it says Blue Moon. I put up the tree yesterday. Took a couple of hours. Is that a big tree? Parajat says, Parajat, am I pronouncing the name even remotely close? Says he's good. Some people like getting in the Christmas spirit early. Nodak says, but now the death of my mom and dad a long time ago is more of a bittersweet memory. I can understand that. Simply says, Slaradox, so the difference between the Eastern Foundation and the Western Foundation of spiritual philosophy. Thinkbook says, yes, pretty strict biblical literalists, but they don't actually read the Bible. Thinkbook, why do you think that Christians want to put up the 10 Commandments in a courthouse, but they would refuse, probably, or most of them, they would refuse to put up the Beatitudes, and yet the Beatitudes are the backbone of Christianity itself. Therodox says, call me Therodox, School Sniper. And what do you mean, philosophy? What? Sinkbook says, I got to have my meat, but I do respect ethical veganism. It's funny you say that, because I am ethical veganism, and I respect hunters and fishermen. I think hunters and fishermen, the best of them, and the ones that I know are the best, are ethical in how they do things. So I'd much rather, uh, if I were to eat meat, it would either be nowadays, if I were to eat meat, I haven't for 16 years. It would be from small farm that practice animal husbandry, or I would maybe barter or even buy meat from a hunter or fish from a fisherman. Therodox says, my aunt has been doing the best, hasn't been doing the best. She could use prayers. Definitely, Therodox. Prayers to your aunt, my friend. I will remember tonight. SS says burgers are great, but factory farming has got to change. It feels wrong. It is wrong. If it feels wrong, it's wrong. And we all know it. No one wants to see any animal or anything suffer like that. Stinkbug says it's more of a cultural Christianity down here. Hey, Rowena. Even Jay says I don't want to sacrifice. What do you mean? Nodak says, oh, well, for me, the core fundamentals are believing in Jesus and the death of the cross, on the cross for us, and the power of the resurrection. I still wonder why we place such a heavy emphasis on the cross. Adam says, I'd rather eat a fresh fish than some freaking corn. I'm not really big on corn myself. Sinclair says, I grew up on a farm, but I know most of my local farmers are cattlemen. I just like to say around 190 pounds, and we always have meat here. Do you, Sinkbug, do you hunt fish? You do fish, because I saw videos of you fishing. What's up, Heart Matters? How are you, my friend? What's up, Jacob? Thanks for the Jacob love. Marina says, do no harm, walk lightly on the earth, peace to the anima, and peace be unto you. Thank you for that. It's a powerful, powerful salutation, prayer. Benaho says, I like your Walter White costume. How do you know it's a costume, my friend? Hey, Sebastian, thanks for dropping the link. What kind of farm did you grow up on, Stinkbug? I worked in a veal farm when I was 15 years old. Cat says, hi to Nino. Lisa says, so too, Heart Matters. Stinkbug says, Miss Lucy. Stephen says, Benaho, please come up with something fresh, not recycled. It has been said before, hasn't it? I got a Michael Stipe comment tonight. That was, I haven't heard that in a bit. Adam says, I see the cross as an extreme example of love in the face of hate. The resurrection is a gift of love eternal. Well, that's what the Course says. The only lesson of the cross is that we can all survive our own crucifixion. Marina says, you are encouraging. Thank you for what you do. You're welcome, my friend, and thank you. Thank you for being here. Cattle farm, we had 300 cows. Now we just raise pine trees. Awesome. Hey, do you do them for Christmas trees, right? Are you friends with, you connected with Eric Lapointe? Well, you picked coffee as a kid? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what a coffee plant looks like. Adam says, I think sometimes that's often missed about the crucifixion, as it was a humiliation way to die, so ergo love in the face of humiliation. I like that, Adam. I like Ram Dass quite a bit, Parajat. Quite a bit. I quote him pretty often. Oh, we have worked at a deal with the government, and we just had them harvested for straw now. Gotcha. Interesting. Is it easier than raising cattle? I would imagine. Harmata says it's a small tree. Now I have to look up a picture. Semper says Zeradox, the core foundation difference is that Eastern philosophy, all based on unconditional love, where the Western is being born in sin. It's not a great start of the West for finding source. Little backwards. So Course in Miracles goes on to say that the option is, the lesson from the cross is that we could choose to crucify others as well as ourselves. Hey, Vasily, my friend, how are you? Nice to see you. Make that. Simcha says, and release the land to hunters now. We have a few hundred acres here in Alabama. Hey, here's an odd question for you, Stinkbug. How's the bear population in Alabama? Rowena says, Jesus said in the Testament, no, I don't want to sacrifice and upturn the tables, release the sacrificial doves. I don't think that Jesus thought of his time on the cross as a sacrifice. I think he thought of it as a lesson. Again, a lesson that even in the face of crucifixion, and we are all gonna feel crucified at one time or another, and we're all gonna choose to crucify someone at one time or another. That even through that, we can offer the resurrection. The resurrection, in an Eastern sense, would be rebirth. Not rising from the dead, but rising from a moment that seems dead in certainty, but now it's given the opportunity of rebirth. Prajat says, what's it mean by yogi? Just a sincere practitioner of yoga, the yogic path. Whatever yogic path it might be for each individual, someone who is committed to it, not anyone who is realized in any way, not anyone who is a guru in any way, just a sincere practitioner of yoga. Separate says, I have no fear. Adam says, are there any Jamaicans in the room who would send me free coffee? Jamaicans, Hawaiians, South Americans, right? Africa has good coffee. Ethiopia grows good coffee. That's that says grow coffee tree. Basil says, nice to see you too, Yogi. I enjoyed the previous miracle streams with Insightful Lady. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you were there. She was very insightful. Very much so. We got some more coming up too. By the way, there is a playlist of all those. There's a playlist of all the guests that have come up. There's a playlist for Squirrel Snipers Esoteric Lounge. Bastille, good to see you, says Kat. Zephyr says crucifixion was Jesus looking inwards. I can't help but think that we messed up on that great lesson from the cross, what could have been. Had we chosen to focus on the resurrection over the crucifixion, we seem to worship the cross. We seem to worship the suffering. We seem to worship the sin. Remember, worship isn't necessarily a positive force. Sick Book says, Grandpa says he's seen them in Florida, but we don't have them here. Yeah, actually, a man was recently killed by a bear in Florida. Does not happen often with black bears, at least not here. I was in Algonquin Park in Ontario, and we stopped at a station, ranger station, and they had a book on bear attacks. And what a book to have at your ranger station, bear attacks in Algonquin Park. And it's one of the few places where black bears will literally stalk people, backpackers, as prey. They're not normally, they're not strict carnivores, more, wide ranging in their appetite. But they got to taste collectively. I wonder if they would make their way back. You are surrounded what by the Panhandle of Florida. So they have them in the Panhandle. You got Tennessee north of you, right? And they have them in Tennessee. Maybe not Western Tennessee though. Eastern Tennessee they do. And you got Arkansas just north of you. You need to look at a map. I wonder about Louisiana. Heart Matter says it just moved onto a coffee farm that opened in 1880. Wow. Hey, you mentioned that once before, I believe. Bastille is in Cario. Wow. What's up, What's the matter? Says who? Sasquatch? No, we're talking bears. I don't know why one of my favorite things to do is talk about bear populations of certain states. Probably because I'm pretty weird about a lot of weird stuff. Buster says, yep, Sasquatch in all those places, all right. You think Sasquatch is in Tennessee? In Alabama? I could see the possibility. You were out west, right? You're in the Pacific. If it says Sasquatch are friendly with the orbs, I didn't know that. Rita says no, he didn't want the dove sacrifice. AI animals. Gotcha. Understand, my friend. Hey, Curtis. All kinds of Bigfoots in the Appalachian Mountains. Hey, Curtis, where are you located? What's it says? Oh, hey, bears and Sasquatch go hand in hand. Sasquatch works the night shift, bears the day. Gotcha. Stinkbug says he's the only Sasquatch here. Hey, Stinkbug, how tall are you? You said you're 190. It's a good weight. Curtis says Central Florida, home of the skunk ape. I've not heard of the skunk ape. Florida's a pretty big bear state, but you know what state has the most in the continental United States? The most concentrated bear population of all the states? Take a guess without Googling. Semper says, loving your burger, stink bug. Cat says, yes. Semper says, both interdimensional. Cat's excited about the skunk ape. You never know what's going to get Cat excited. Rena says, you're all lovely. Thank you for resurrecting. Well, thank you, Rowena. Thanks for being here, my friend. Only 6'2". I don't know about only. Curtis says, Alaska? Nope. Alaska might have a higher overall population, but the highest concentrated population is in North Carolina. And it's not even in the mountains. You think it would be in the Smokies? It's actually on the coast, in the wetlands, right around the Outer Banks area. That says it's 6'5" and a pair of high heels. So how high do those heels have to be? Seven said spoke plenty of skunk in the late 80s. Me too. All through the 80s. Hey, Jacob. Thanks again for the Jacob love. Guys, we're going to wrap up in a couple minutes. I got my hour in. We had a long one last night with Chris, Nature's Dog Realm. Bastille says, Dutch and Americans, you guys are really tall. Not me. I'm not short. I'm 5'9". I weighed the 190 mark for quite some time. When I was, when I first started, when I finished, I was bodybuilding for a while. Then I got into powerlifting and I held 190 for a while. But I really wanted to bench over 300 pounds, and my weight, the weight was not moving. I wanted to do it in competition. Cat says no. I was just saying. Yes, I think they're in Tennessee. The Sasquatches. It is Sasquatches, right? Not Sasquai. I think. So I bulked up to about 220, and I did get my big bench, but it wasn't that spectacular. I still placed like right smack dab in the middle in powerlifting. My placing didn't change. I just was in a different weight class. What's the matter says I was 5'9", 205 when at peak fitness, pure muscle. Did you compete in anything, Wasa? Lisa says only me and my mom are below 6 feet. Yeah, you've talked about your father and brother, how tall they are. Lucy is 5'10", but I'm part Dutch. All the men in my family are over 6 foot. My brother's about 6'2". Rita says experience. Thanks to you, Yogi, for saving souls through your abstinence fast. Oh, you're welcome. I'm absolutely always happy to. Again, I am vegan. I think it's healthy. People may argue with that, but for me, it's strictly for ethical reasons. Sick Book says I just happen to be born taller than my family parents. 6'2", 190. It's a good size. Rita says faster makes you quicker. I think it helps you think quicker too. SS says high heels, that is dangerous combination, Sniper. The quickening. Sixbook says you were at 190 at 5'9". Yep, for a long time. I bulked up to 220. Most people have seen photos or a photo of me. I've used it as a thumbnail before. Miss Daisy says, taking off now, Yogi. Thank you, Miss Daisy. I appreciate you hanging out with us, Kelly. You too. Have a good Halloween. Oh, I asked if you ever competed in anything. But like I said, getting up that heavy, getting up to 220, even 190 was too heavy for me. Hey, Selina. Selina, I did see you come in this afternoon. Sorry I couldn't reply. I had my focus on our guest. She only had an hour to spend with us. I also saw your question. Are there many paths to God? And yes, there are. Now, I could say some paths might be quicker. They might take us there a little quicker with less distractions. Zephyr says 10'5" stone at 5'10". Curtis says we're majoring in stones, so you're Australian. He is British. Simply says my mom is like 5'3", my dad is about 5'11". Luck. Do you have any siblings, Stinkbug? Luck of the draw. DC says so to Curtis. Rita says you're all perfect, no matter what. What? I love you all. We love you too. Well, thank you so much. Zephyr says UK Curtis, old money. Buster says Stinkbug. As I just said, I was 205 at 5'9". I felt a bit too heavy at that weight though, but I liked wearing my tight shirts and walking around flexing. I gotta admit, such a poser. There was a lot to be said for being big. Health reasons aside, being big, being that strong, even though, like I said, in competition, I was only middle of the pack, which is okay. I stepped up on the platform. I did what I wanted to do. I knew I was offered supplements that I could have taken them, and I still would not have been a great powerlifter. I might have been good. Not worth it. It's not worth sacrificing your health to be good at something. Sonnet says, I believe Gandhi said that there were many paths to God. Agreed. I mean, even yoga has many paths of yoga. There are different Buddhist paths. Not that Buddhism is a path to God, per se. Sinkbug says, grandparents say hello to you. Well, thank you. Hello to Sinkbug's grandparents. So even the beginning of A Course in Miracles says that there are many paths to God, but they believe the quickest route, if you're in a hurry, and you don't have to be in a hurry, quickest route is through the practice of forgiveness, as presented by A Course in Miracles, beautifully described by Emily this afternoon. Stephen says, can't carry extra weight around them trees. Yeah, I guess that would hinder your climbing, right? Yeah, I had some friends that it was a little discouraging seeing them get so big and so strong with less work, actually. Stephen says, the creator's plan is for all to have fun. Who was a jazz artist? I can't remember. Who wrote that song? Creator has a master plan. We're going to find out real quick because it's bothering me that I can't remember. 1970s. He just passed away, actually. Pharoah Sanders. Sort of a jazz, one of the first fusions of jazz and funk. All right, guys. I think now is the time that we're going to call it a night. I'm going to go to bed. I had a little bit of a later night last night. So early night is in order. Sippy says I have enough gear with lowering ropes and chainsaw. Yeah, I bet. I can imagine. All right, guys. So no guest. Going to be an open day tomorrow. Maybe we'll do like if anyone wants to come up for 5 minutes just to chat. Keep us notified on what's going on. If you want to come up, tell us the story. You know, what's going on in your life. Share a little bit of what's going on with you. Curtis says, Sniper, you should tell Americans, I'll tell you, in millimeters, really confuse you. Good night, Lucy. Lucy says, good night, Yogi Eric, and good night, everyone in the chat. Good night, my friend. It would really confuse people for sure. I know certain things. I know the distance of a 5K. I know the distance of a 10K in miles. I know the distance of 50Ks because I used to run a bunch of 50Ks. So I also know 100Ks. I know some of my Ks. Sniper says it still needs 1778 millimeters. They should get that. Sonnet says Halloween was a religious celebration, All Hallows Eve. I didn't get a single knock on my door. No kids came around. All right. So, guys, I'm going to head out. Thanks for being here with me. It's very much appreciated. Love you guys. Take care.